Well, the hottest news in Nigeria now is still the new petrol price, which everyone is feeling and talking about the impact and trying to understand. And because we did have that announcement that 48 hours after the resumption of production or the initiation or commencement of petrol production by Dangote refineries, that we would have it in circulation. However, 48 hours since we did not have it, we did get a statement from Dangote refineries to tell us that NNPCL hasn't come for the loading of petrol. So that's why. But apart from that, we do have the new price going on. And we are asking questions. I mean, some people have asked that since there's been an announcement or the promise that there'll be petrol sold in Naira to local refiners, not just to Dangote, but I mean, you have the modular refineries also, refiners also. Would that reduce the price of petrol? Let's look at the economics of this with an economist, Dr. Muda Yusuf, the Chief Executive Officer, Center for Promotion of Private Enterprises. Dr. Yusuf, good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you, Ine.
So let's start from, the expectation now. People are asking what's really going on. We have a new prices, I think I should put it that way, of petrol at the pump. Can that assure us of petrol sufficiency? Can we say we will have energy security with this? Or is this just reaction to the drop in the value of the Naira?
Well, it has been a very challenging and sometimes confusing situation. Because at the time that the Dangote refinery made the announcement of commencement of production, there was a strange coincidence that it was also at that time that NNPC was announcing a new price. I think that coincidence can be very misleading because there is no connection between the two. Because the impression seems to have been created that it was because Dangote was coming with his PMS, that is why prices went up. I think that was misleading. But coming to your question, we had two major issues in the last 2 weeks, which actually exacerbated the situation. We had the challenge of scarcity, then we had the challenge of the increase in price. That increase in price for me was a bit on the high side. We are talking about close to 40%, given the social economic condition in the country today. And let me say that the way things are now, it is extremely difficult for the government to walk away completely from providing subsidy. It's extremely difficult. Because in whatever policy we conceptualize or we want to promote, the social content of policy is extremely very important. Because the social cost of reform so far has been far, far beyond what many of us expected. So there has to be a moderation both in the pace of the reform and also the kind of pace it's imposing on the citizens. No two economies are the same. In many of the economies where we have full deregulated system, the energy market, those economies have very robust safety net, social safety net. We don't have that kind of thing here. So we need to follow this process gradually. Secondly, in order to ease the burden of the fiscal burden on government of all these transactions, we need to localize those transactions. We need to localize this fuel importation, fuel something. We need to localize these transactions. Luckily, we now have the Dangote refinery. It's a great opportunity for us to localize all transactions relating to fuel supply. That will increase, the transparency of the process. It will improve the integrity of the process. It will help us to, strengthen our reserves. It will help to also moderate the pressure on the exchange rate.
But Dr. Yusuf,
in addition to the issues of backward integration by industries.
Dr. Yusuf, we are
talking about petrochemical industries and so on.
Dr. Yusuf,
a lot of things are being imported that are, products of refineries. So there's a whole lot of things to benefit.
Dr.
But
Yusuf,
unfortunately,
can you hear me? So, I mean, you're talking about localizing, the process of this. Can we really do that? I mean, we can applaud the statement that crude should be sold in Naira. Do we even have the crude? Because we do know that Dangote itself is still importing WTI from the United States. And we even had, I mean, a statement from the NNPCL, or is it the NUPRC, that they are not able to meet up with domestic obligation because of other obligations that have been made even before now.
Now, whatever obligation they can meet, they should put that on the table. The principle must be agreed. There has to be a political commitment to it. Because this is a nationalistic issue. This is about economic nationalism. Because I'm worried that the NNPC is not showing enough excitement about this Dangote refinery. And it's very strange. Like many other Nigerians, we expect the NNPC to be a lot more enthusiastic. But from the body language, from the pronouncements, it doesn't seem like that. And that would be very, very bad for this economy. So I think whatever capacity the NNPC has, let them make it available. I mean, I saw some reports of their schedule of what they can make available to Dangote refinery. They may not be able to provide everything that the refinery needs, but whatever they can provide, let them provide. And let them provide in very, concessionary terms. Because as much as possible, we need to ease the pains of Nigerians. The cost of that has to be borne by the government. Because we are talking about social considerations, social content of policy. All over the world, anything that has social implications are borne by the government. That is what it should be. Because I listened to a statement saying that Dangote is free to sell to any marketer and all of that. I mean, how can that be? The NNPC is subsidizing, even at this current price. They are subsidizing. So how do you now expect a private sector to go into the market where subsidy is being provided by a major supplier? I mean, that is not fair. So whatever we need to do to support domestic production, to support domestic refineries, not only Dangote, so that we don't narrow it down to Dangote. All the domestic refineries, we need to give them all the necessary support. Because there's a whole lot of benefits, macroeconomic benefits, energy security benefits, job creation benefits, backward integration. There are so much benefits that we can derive from this. So we need to compel the relevant institutions to please, in the name of God, and to ensure the survival of this economy. They should support domestic production across sectors. And they should do so transparently, and they must show that commitment. Because I'm worried about the trend. Now, it seems that importation of fuel is still continuing. Dangote has told us that they have the PMS. Why must we be importing at this time? I cannot understand.
So, Dr. Yusuf, looking at the bigger picture now, government has to continue paying subsidy. It is necessary to cushion, the impact of the reforms. And we're also looking at debt burden, debt servicing, which obviously the government will have to continue doing. So I'm just wondering, isn't it just like a circle? Where goeth the gains, or where cometh the gains of the reforms that's so much applauded?
No, one of the biggest windows out of this crisis is to localize oil and gas transactions, particularly petroleum product transactions. About 35% or so of our foreign exchange earnings is being consumed by this importation of petroleum products. And we cannot have a better opportunity than what we have now. That should be the starting point. If you take away that pressure of 35% away from our foreign reserves or foreign exchange market, it will have a significant impact on the macroeconomic environment. It will have a significant impact on exchange rates. Because at the heart of all the problems we are facing in this country today is the exchange rate depreciation. That is at the heart of everything. So every opportunity we have to redress the foreign exchange situation, we should take advantage of it. And one of the best strategies is to promote import substitution. Wherever you have the opportunity to substitute what we are importing with domestic production, we should jump at it. And we should do so very quickly, because that is the way to go. So in order for us to be able to reap the benefits of the reforms, you must support domestic production across all sectors. And that is the way. We cannot have opportunities for domestic production, and yet government agencies are still importing products. How do you explain that? How do you justify that? It's not defensible. So I come back to the issue of localization of those transactions. That is the way this economy can benefit, and that is the way we can move forward.
So I wonder if you have heard, perhaps, Dangote says they are ready, production has started of petrol, but they are waiting NNPC, and we had known that there's the arrangement where NNPC is the loan off-taker. I wonder why the delay. I wonder if you have heard anything. I know you're neither with Dangote nor with NNPC, but just being in the sector and having conversations, if you have heard anything that's causing the delay.
Well, I haven't heard anything, because I'm neither close to Dangote or close to the government people. But what I do know, as somebody who is observing the economy, is that the NNPC doesn't seem to be excited by this domestic production or domestic refining of petroleum products. And that is very, very unfair. I may be wrong, but that is what I can see, both from their pronouncements and from their body language. And I think from the political side, we need to weigh in on that. We need to change that mindset. That the way to turn around this economy is to support domestic production. That is the only way out. To promote backward integration, to conserve foreign exchange, to create more jobs. That is the way out. And we are almost there. I don't know why people are now backtracking and trying to almost even sabotage a very big initiative, a very big transition. Because for me, we are already at an inflection point. We are about to turn the corner. So I don't know why all this dragging of feet and all of that. Perhaps it could be issues of self-interest. Because this cannot be in the interest of the Nigerian economy.
Or perhaps, Dr. Yusuf, I know you heard that Dangote informed us that a Federal Executive Council is supposed to set the price, and they were working on that. Perhaps that's what NNPC is waiting for. Perhaps.
Well, I don't know, but what I do know from the announcement from Dangote is that they were ready, they have the products ready, and suddenly we saw that supply has improved. Where did the supply come from? Apparently, they have also gone to import again. Why should that be? I think something is not adding up. Something is not adding up, and I think we need to fix this in the interest of the economy and in the interest of the Nigerian people. Even if you want to reduce subsidy, it is easier to reduce subsidy when you are producing locally. You can monitor the transactions. The integrity of the process can easily be monitored. And now that the government has offered to sell the crude in Naira, the landing costs should be much lower. So there's a whole lot of advantage for us to latch on to stabilize this economy. So I think maybe higher authorities need to weigh in on this. That should be my take. Because the way it is, I'm not sure we can leave this very big issue only to the NNPC. I don't think so. The political leaders need to weigh in on this so that we can straighten things out.
All right, Dr. Yusuf, thank you so much for your views and perception this morning. Dr. Muda Yusuf is the Chief Executive Officer of CPPE. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll see how the market fared. Summary of the market for last week. Just stay with us.